Calling the council to hold the meeting on May 18th, 2021, to order at 7:01 p.m. All members from council are present. Present for the administration is our police chief, Larry Wright, our fire chief, Ted Whittington, our mayor, Dennis Ford, law director, Randy Clammer, and city engineer, Todd White. If there's anyone recording this meeting as a courtesy to the public, will you please identify yourself so that fellow attendees know they're being recorded. Being no one, the city of Eastlake is recording this meeting. Before we move on to legislation proposed, I'm going to turn this over to Fire Chief Whittington, swearing in the firefighters.
Evening, everybody. Thank you, Mr. President and Council, for letting us do sign up with all your mock. So I always tell everybody, especially people that are in the audience, we put these guys through a pretty rigorous process. So by the time the guys get to this point, they've been pretty heavy. They've had to do a lot of different things. We interview them. We get into their backgrounds. We do different things like that. So we feel pretty comfortable when we get into this point that we have a pretty good candidate. Now, we don't always know what's going to happen when they go to work, but unfortunately for Don, he's already been kind of sworn in. He's already been working. So we already kind of know what's going to happen, right? He's doing a lot. So a little background on Don. He's a part-time firefighter for Willowick and Wickliffe. I think that that aspect of it gives them an idea of what the fire life's about. So when they get to the point where we give them a career, they already have a kind of an idea what they're up against. And as I let him introduce his family, but his girlfriend Rebecca and his brother Dylan are here, along with his mom Joyce. We have these packets that we send out to families, and they kind of fill in. So the one thing when we were going through the packets for Donnie, his mom spent a lot of time on his packets. And not to say that the parents don't spend a lot of time on their packets, but Don's mom spent an incredible. I can tell you from my perspective, it really opened up who he was, what kind of person he was. And that's very helpful because we don't know a lot about them unless we know them on the road. So I know that after she put in, again, it really helped me to get an idea of really what kind of person he is. And I know that from that perspective, we're very excited to have him here. It was a good thing. It's good. She said good things about it. But I want to bring that up because I think that this is a family effort. When we get to these points, everybody that's involved, so his girlfriend, his brother, his mom, this is a labor of love, I guess, for lack of a better term. So when we finally get to the point where we can swear them as full-time members, most certainly everybody's earned a lot for his family. So again, like I always say, we bring him here to have them have a long, prosperous career. We want them to flourish in this department, in this community. He comes into a community that's doing very well. We're all excited about the future of the city and where it's come over the last 10, 15 years. So again, I welcome Don and his family to our family, and anything we can do to make him have a good career, we're going to do. Thank you. Congratulations.
Chief, do you want to just introduce the other new ones that are here? So we had a separate swearing in over in the fire department because we needed to get them in there with a council meeting. So for the other new firefighters at the fire station, and then
so they're all here.
Afterwards.
So I'll let them stand up and raise their hand. So John Colavecchio just kind of walked in. Joe Gronkowski, Joe Bissell, and Anthony Fortunato. Those are also under the support at the fire station. So they're here to support that. So I'm happy to let them do the swearing in. I'll get out of the way.
I, Donald Contento, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that I will faithfully, honestly, impartially discharge the duties of the office of firefighter of the city of Eastlake, Lake County, Ohio, to the term beginning May 3rd, 2021, during my continuance in said office.
happy to be here, thank you.
So, so traditionally, unless the council has a different direction, for those that, unless you want to stay for the council meeting, you can go back, there's some refreshments down, you can go to station one, you can take your family through. So if you guys want to go back to the station, unless you want to stay for council meeting. Yeah,
You're out doing it all. You want to go, Bob?
Joe, and Joe. That was in the cards, remember?
This should probably have a secret in tonight. I know, yeah, I was invited to go there, but I couldn't make it. Oh, sure. Well, no kidding, it's good, apparently like that.
All right. We will move on to legislation proposed. Legislation number 05-18-01, resolution supporting and designating May 26, 2021 to be North High School Class of 2021 Day and declaring an emergency. Mr. Bill?
Yeah, it was just a thought based on all that this senior class has been through the last year and a half or so. And I have a slight bias, my son to be a part of that class, but nevertheless, I wanted to have the city to honor the school and the teachers and that class. And Mr. Fry will be here next week with the valedictorian, salutatorian, and the class president. They have yet not designated who those are yet because of how close the competition is these days. So we'll have some yet.
Any questions for Mr. Kelly? Seeing none, we'll move on to legislation number 05-18-02, a resolution accepting the tax budget for 2022 as presented by the Director of Finance and declaring emergency.
This is just housekeeping from the county, to us, we do every year.
Any questions for that? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to legislation 05-18-03, a resolution submitting to the electors of the city the question of renewing an existing 1.8 mil tax levy for the purpose of providing funds for current operating expenses pursuant to section 5705.19A of the revised code and declaring it emergency.
This is just a renewal from the original 1982, levy for the, general fund. It's something we have to do every 5 years, there's no tax increase. Actually, the 1.8 mil, comes in a little less than that since 1982, so that's all it is.
Any questions for that? Moving on, legislation number 05-12-04, a resolution approving the use of diverse land lake area for purpose shore structures at 36141 Portage Drive, Eastlake, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Rainfall and swim this one a little better. We've been working on this one for 6 months. You got it. You can explain that actually what's.
The folks that are putting in were vetted, and they're touching the water and moving out some short distance, and if they do that, they require a submerged land lease. To get a submerged land lease, you have to have the local authority have a resolution that says really you have no use for that land. We don't, so that's the resolution just to enable them to proceed with their shore protection.
There's nothing there in the city now.
There's nothing there of interest to the city, or that I can't, in my wildest imagination, would ever be of interest to the city right in that particular area. We had to go through similar hoops to get a submerged land lease for the, I believe, the outfall work in the treatment place some years ago, where we had to ask AT&T, or not AT&T, First Energy, if they had any issues with it. So it's just a general sign off to help the resident.
Any questions for Mr. White? Okay. Moving none, I'll move on. Legislation number 05-18-05, a resolution authorizing the mayor and director of finance to file an application with the Lake County Planning Commission for funds through the Competitive Community Development Block Grant Program, CDBG, for the term of October 1st, 2021 through September 31st, 2022, and declaring an emergency.
We've not yet filed that, we have till Thursday at 4 o'clock. The area that the county has given us has been a little demanding, so Judy and I have been working with the county of Caroline to try to straighten a couple things out before we hand in our applications. We'll be looking for the CDBG, $150,000. It's in the Vine Street and Lakeland Boulevard area. We've already met with two businesses that are looking to improve their site, similar to what we did on Vine with some improvements to their storefront and or signs on Lakeland. To a couple businesses we've talked to, so we're asking 150 there. We're asking for 100,000 for the home. That we did this year, we had 43 applications this year for $73,000. We did get 40, like I said, we did get 43 apps. They've been meeting with Mary Norman from the county. It started this week and last week. They did the initial application. Now they're getting contractor estimates that will go through the county with Mary Norman to just figure out who ends up getting the money. We were the only city that applied last year for this, and I don't know if anyone else applied. So we decided, since we had so many people ask to do it, that we apply again, and that will help. Some of the people that have been applying from people that had violations, and the council president has told us about some people in his area that we are still trying to work with on that. So that's at this point. So not till 4 p.m. We're probably gonna wait till 4 o'clock on Thursday to hand it in.
Did we send letters out to the residents again this year, like we did last year, or are you planning to?
We're planning that. Well, we have to see if we get a new round of money, but yeah, for the 73,000, that's all allowed for this year.
Right. And the same area again as,
We also sit down with Mary and see what they do. Like I said, every year they could change, and which we're trying to figure out the right reason how they do this. We just haven't got that answer from the county.
any questions from there? Okay, seeing none, and then moving on to legislation number 05-18-06, a resolution authorizing the mayor and director of finance to file an application with the Lake County Planning Commission for funds through the Home Investment Partnerships Program, HOME, for the term of October 1st, 2021 through September 1st, 2022, and declaring an emergency, and I believe
That's what I'm all in. Yep.
all right. Oh, you have two more? Legislation number 05-1807, a resolution recognizing the broad duty to affirmatively further fair housing in the city of East Lake County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
It's something we have to hand in to be eligible to apply for CDBG money.
Any questions for that? All right. And legislation number 05-18-08, an ordinance to reappropriate for the expenses of the city of East Lake, state of Ohio, for the period beginning January 1st, 2021, and ending December 31st, 2021, and declaring an emergency.
This is a change so we can hire another service employee. Like I sent you guys the email last few weeks of some of the areas that we're getting behind. We have 5 employees that are out still, nothing from COVID, but just from surgeries they've had. We actually just had a employee go down when he will be back. So I was planning on trying to get an employee later on. But I asked Carolina if there was any way we can change the budget to get this. So we just obviously were down employees and we need more service. And then we should be hiring 3 summer help that should be starting shortly. Obviously, we got behind on the grass. We're trying to catch up and catch up on a few other things. So that is the reason for the change, so we can hire service guys.
Any questions for the mayor? Okay. We have no legislation pending. Under miscellaneous, we have approved council meeting of May 15, 2021, to order at 7:16 p.m. Mr. Overstreet, will you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Third, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Overstreet? Here. Mr. President? Here. Mr. Slattery? Here. Mr. Gully?
Here.
Mr. Evers?
Here.
Mr. Zernick here, and President Myers.
Here. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for the regular council meeting of May 18, 2021?
So moved.
Is there a second? Mr. Zernick, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Zernick, yes. Mr. Slattery? Yes. Mr. President? Yes. Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet? Yes. And President Myers.
Yes. The motion carried, the agenda is approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of April 27, 2021?
So moved.
Is there a second? Mr. Zernick, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Zernick, yes. Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. President? Yes. Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet? Abstain. And President Myers.
Yes, the motion is carried, the minutes are approved. We do have minutes pending from prior meetings, and I know the council clerk is working diligently on those. Have some of those for you in the future. Our next scheduled council as a whole committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, May 25th, 2021, at 7 p.m., with the regular council meeting immediately following the adjournment of the council as a whole committee meeting. I believe we've had a committee meeting.
I have a motion to discuss.
That's by Mr. Zernick.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the last council meeting, the ECDC committee moved forward to nominate Logan Trees to the open seat on the ECDC committee. In hindsight, this was an error. The seat that was open was for a business owner in the city. Due to the person that resigned, we inadvertently thought it was a resident, so it was an error. Correct the error and rescind the motion for Logan Trees to be appointed and reopen that seat back to a business owner in the city of East Lake. So I'm making a motion to rescind the appointment for Logan Trees to the ECDC committee.
Is there a second? Mr. Zernick, please call the roll.
Mr. Zernick, yes. Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Zernick? Yes. Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Mr. Evers? Yes. Mr. Overstreet? Yes. And President Myers.
Yes, the motion is carried, the appointment is rescinded. You're welcome. Okay. We will move on to recognition of the public. Floor is open for recognition of the public. Everyone speakers, all remarks will be directed to the chair. We will not involve personality. Limited to 3 minutes per person, 30 minutes total. We have one person signed up to speak. Ms. Cronwell, please state your name and address for the record.
First time, I'm 127 Waverly Road. Well, after what you just said, I'm sorry, Council, that you rescinded the appointment. I appreciate that. I'm so confused about a couple of things. So let me just read what I wrote here so that I don't get lost. First, let me say that I have no issues with one person here and had a good personal working relationship with all of you. But the following issue is too problematic to ignore. Sometime in March, I was told an open position would be available on ECDC and encouraged to apply. After some thought, I decided to inquire. I spoke with Council President Myers about the specifics and was told that he wasn't sure if this was a fit for council, from council, or mayor. Apparently, other commissions and committees have this alternate. Dan Schmidt was the mayor for the last time. I assumed this was to be the case. I waited and heard nothing back. While waiting for my answer, I did research on the position and found that for a post made by CCDC chair, dated March 24th, the file was posted. I have yet to find it posted on another line, on another date. The opening on the committee was for an East Lake resident. There was no mention of it being council or mayor pick, and this is confusing. The ordinance does not state it's an alternating pick, like zoning or planning, rather simple approval of council is needed. I'm assuming this is just a simple misunderstanding of the ordinance. Furthermore, his address states that it is both council and mayor approval. Again, confusing that is not what the ordinance says. Mr. Sherman's post dated March 24th was supposed to be for a resident seat. The doing this by my count was thrown the number off by 4 to 4 residents in the contradiction of the EC ordinance itself. I raised the issue of the count, contradiction. Mr. Sherman stated point was an error that he thought they were attempting to fill the seat vacated by Jackson Harnack, which was a resident seat. Mistakes like this shouldn't happen. It is explained that the seat is in fact for a business owner seat. I was then concerned that if the Eastlake business representatives were interested, they would assume they were not eligible since the seat was advertised as being for Eastlake residents, once again limiting the interest. I received a call from the council meeting dated April 27th and was advised that the petition had been voted on the ACDC position, and then they approved on council the same night. I have several issues. First, the agenda does not show the committee was going to even be discussing the seat. It doesn't give the public an opportunity to show up. I would also question the fact that 30 minutes later, it was then put to council for a vote, further limiting the ability for the public to take issue. It was my understanding that votes like this were to be on the next scheduled council meeting. Mr. Zern said the position was in fact a business owner position, even though the city being replaced was added an attorney act, which is resident seat, making it even more confusing and problematic. I request the resume of the individual and nowhere does it show the business owner, a fact that would be an important one on the resume. His further candidacy announcement also does not state or give any indication of being a business owner. I'm sure it says it because it's a bunch of stuff. I do not own a business here. I do not represent a business here, and myself would not be a candidate for the position, but the issue still remains. No one seems to know what the ordinance says or what the position is for, because as stated tonight again, it is for a business owner. But the ordinance does not say business owner. It just says a representative of the business. I think that while these words may seem inconsequential or maybe pedantic, they're not. They mean something. These committees and commissions form the basis of legislation that moves forward and helps to shape the face of the city, not to be taken lightly. Through the years, I've raised concern about process and about doing things to the letter for a reason. It instills distrust and appears not transparent when it's done off the cuff. For some time, I've had some concern that ECDC was no longer acting in the best interest of the city and was not committing to projects and events run by ECDC as a whole to benefit economic development and was operating outside the scope for which it was intended. Further, I'm concerned with the ordinance itself. The ordinance doesn't give any guidelines for reappointment. It only states how long the appointments are. I'm requesting that the ordinance committee review the ECDC ordinance and rewrite accordingly to accommodate for the above issue. As members shouldn't be allowed to sit on any committee indefinitely, but meritocratically. I also request that there be clarification on the chair position. The chair position is currently being occupied by council liaison, which doesn't make any sense. The appointment be rescinded, as you stated, as it is not clear as to what you were all voting on. That the agendas reflect the committee vote and council appointment moves to the next scheduled council meeting for vote after being placed on the agenda and given public notice. That the council reiterates the ECDC going forward, the purpose and role of the committee, and get it back on track to hosting events run by ECDC, approved by council, and organized by all of the members and benefiting the community for the advancement of economic development. Sorry that was very long, and I appreciate all your work on it. I just think that for a while it's been kind of lost, and I really hope that going forward it gets back on track. An absolutely phenomenal committee. So I apologize if that hit the heart of you or any of you, but it needed to be said. I also have a question, if I may. I know about over my 3 minutes. I promise I'll be brief. The 150 plus the 100 comes to 250. Is that what you're asking the CDBG grant? Okay. And then the service employee, is that full-time or you work? Okay, so those temporary employees.
Yeah, we were hiring 3 summer help, and then full-time, hope to have in the next month. Well, I think that, put it out probably by the end of the week. Probably get a week or 2 weeks for people to apply.
Thanks for letting go of my 3 minutes. I'm sure I did. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address council? Name and address for the record, please.
Hunter Raymond, 1252 East 357th Street. Thank you, Mayor Morley, for the clarification on the renewal levy. I didn't know the term of that, and stated in the, so it's a 5-year. And your comments on what we intend to submit for the city on the flat ground application. I'm curious on how the city determines, what to pick annually to submit for community development flat grant. I know that the LMI area changed, sounded like, based on the sharing. Where I live actually falls within the LMI area, and I just have to throw in for my son. He likes sidewalks on East 350,000th Street. So if there's ever a chance, I know that you're working with the county on redoing the water line, and I understand that putting sidewalks in on 357 will probably require a lot of utilities to be moved and underground, and ditches enclosed, and all kinds of things. But that area can continue to be eligible for some kind of block grant funds. I know there's.
When the county gets back to us, their plans on the towns where they're probably ranked to different streets. So I think I told you this before. I was pushing for 357. They're finally doing. I think they're going to do it this year, and 349 for water main, for water line replacement. I pushed, especially after the new Circle K went in, because there's obviously more traffic going down your street. So we're trying to do that again. When that time comes, we can look into possible sidewalks. When that time comes, again, we'll look at, see how many people are obviously going to apply for this building. Like I said, we have 3 right now companies. It's talked to us before the block grant came out, and it was just weird. We met with a company that's on Lakeland, and then when it came out with LMI, like, again, every year it changes, and trying to find out the rhyme or reason why it keeps changing. But if someone can tell me that, it would be a lot easier for us to plan what we want to do. When that comes out, they give us a month to figure out what we want to do. I've brought up that they need to extend that, but I understand we have the rules also. So we'll continue to work on that. Okay.
Mayor, if I may, I got an upgrade in Roethlisberger yesterday with the East 357 line to Stevens is on their schedule, but it did not with Stevie or water line.
Okay. So that's where we'll come down the water line and we'll fix the road at the same time, because I sent in, because I believe unless, there's another new one that I think we've had 14 breaks. We would have like 18 breaks, and it's been probably 6 years before it got unified again.
In our homes on that street, we have very high blood pressure, and usually high blood pressure, so I hope that they're looking at that and may fix it. But, yeah, they did come out and repair those areas on the road. Finally, I still would disagree with the service department director's opinion as to whether or not all potholes are filled. I drive down there every day, and I know several of you probably as well, now that even with blocked off, so you're using that, there's probably a cut through and over and out. There's a lot of potholes.
They use Stevens, all right, it's still the wrong way.
Okay, I guess just, the last thing I had, I saw that the, city ordinances, or the city, ordinances allow the, East Lake to establish what's called the Park and Tree Commission, and this dates back to like 1956, so I was curious if the city has ever thought about, filling those seats and establishing the, East Lake Park and Tree Commission, because it does allow that, citizens board, appointed by the mayor, I believe, I don't know the details, but allow us to do some planning activities for the community as far as identifying, park areas, playgrounds, and kind of planning for future improvements, and then where do we need park plans and things like that. And it also allows them to work with the planning commission and council on identifying land for purchase. And another important thing too is, we have a couple of subdivisions for the old Caston, Washington sites are being redeveloped. There's a provision in the subdivision regulations that state that they're required to put street trees in. However, they have to have those plans approved by the Park and Tree Commission. And the Park and Tree Commission is supposed to tell the developer what kind of trees to put in. And I don't know how that's going to work, how to establish a tree and park commission. So with those two new developments, will the city be looking, can the city still acquire those street trees? Additionally, in the subdivision regulations, it states that if there's a general plan for parks, and within the city that the planning commission could require a developer to dedicate or deed over parkland within the development. So like, yeah, we were using that specifically for the senior center and the playground. And then obviously we lost control, we went control the property, it got sold, and now Frontier Land Development is developing it. But had we had a plan in place, we could have had the planning commission saying, and I remember sitting here listening to one of the planning commissioners saying, there's no park area, there's no green space. However, have we had a plan together, we could have used that as maybe a negotiation tool with that developer to maybe deed over a lot to the city to keep the playground there. I just think there's some things that commission could do and that could help the city moving forward, and that might even help like future ideas for different projects to submit for community development block grant applications that just come up. So I guess I would challenge you to take a look at that and see if it's worthy of filling the seats on that and seeing if that's something that the city can do to help moving forward.
So the architectural review commission does, the committee does, especially most of the time, they've been obviously just having new additions to some of our businesses, so they've been looking at those when it comes to bushes or what kind of plants. So I'll take a look at that ordinance that you're asking about.
Well, yeah, this is different. These are public entities, public trees in the, in the public right of way. So it would fall on the city, for maintenance responsibility, so you have to take a look at the department and see if they've got the ability to do that, or hire like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council? All right, thank you. Mr. Vera, will you please read legislation number 05-18-01?
Resolution supporting and designating May 26, 2021 to be North High School class of 2021 day and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Vera, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Kissing?
Yes.
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet? Yes. Mr. Zerning, yes. And President Myers.
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second? Mr. Vera, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Kissing?
Yes.
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet? Yes. Mr. Zerning, yes. And President Myers.
Yes. The motion carries. The legislation is adopted. Mr. Vera, will you please read legislation number 05-18-02?
A resolution accepting the tax budget for 2022 as presented by the Director of Finance and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full? Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Vera, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet? Yes. Mr. Kissing?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Zerning, yes. And President Myers.
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Vera, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet? Yes. Mr. Kissing?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Zerning, yes. And President Myers.
Yes. The motion is carried. The legislation is adopted. Mr. Vera, will you please read legislation number 05-18-03?
A resolution submitting to the electors of the city the question of renewing an existing 1.8 mil tax levy for the purpose of providing funds for current operating expenses pursuant to section 5705.19A of the revised code and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full? Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Vera, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Kissing?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet? Yes. Mr. Zerning, yes. And President Myers.
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Vera, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Kissing?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Zerning, yes. And President Myers.
Yes. The motion is carried. The legislation is adopted. Mr. Vera, will you please read legislation number 05-18-04?
The resolution approving use of submerged lands of Lake Erie for proposed shore structure at 36141 Portage Drive, East Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full? Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Vera, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Kissing?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
number 05-18-05.
A resolution authorizing the mayor and director of finance to file an application with the Lake County Planning Commission for funds through the Competitive Community Development Block Grant Program for the term of October 1st, 2021 through September 31st, 2022, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring second reading to read in full? Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Zerwin, please call the roll.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Kasin?
Yes.
Mr. Song?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Zerian, and President Myers.
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second? Mr. Zerwin, please call the roll.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Kasin?
Yes.
Mr. Song?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Zerian, and President Myers.
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Mr. Zerwin, please read legislation number 05-18-06.
A resolution authorizing the mayor and director of finance to file an application with the Lake County Planning Commission for funds through the Home Investment Partnership Program, HOME, for the term of October 1st, 2021 through September 31st, 2022, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring second reading to read in full? Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Zerwin, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Kasin?
Yes.
Mr. Song?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Zerian, and President Myers.
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Zerwin, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Kasin?
Yes.
Mr. Song?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Zerian, and President Myers.
Yes. Motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 05-18-07.
A resolution recognizing the broad duty to affirmatively further fair housing in the city of East Lake, Lake County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring second reading to read in full? Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Zerwin, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Kasin?
Yes.
Mr. Song?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Zerian, and President Myers.
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Zerwin, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Kasin?
Yes.
Mr. Song?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Zerian, and President Myers.
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Mr. Zerwin, will you please read legislation number 05-18-08?
An ordinance to reappropriate for the expense of the cities like state of Ohio for period beginning January 1st, 2021 and ending December 31st, 2021, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring second reading to read in full? Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Zerwin, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Kasin?
Yes.
Mr. Song?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Zerian, and President Myers.
Yes, is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Zerwin, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Evers?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Kasin?
Yes.
Mr. Song?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Zerian, and President Myers.
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. We have no legislation pending, we have no unfinished business, we have no new business. Move on to administrative reports. Our first report is from our mayor, chief director, Dennis Horn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome, all three of you to this evening. Council meeting. Good news, last meeting, we did pass about the new body armor, for the police department. We did get awarded today, $31,887 towards that, so that is the, bulk of the, that, you can talk about that if you have any more, and that was his, report. Today I sent out an email, and I sent it out to all of you, that rescinded the mask in the city hall and all parts of our campus. As I put to the directors, and if you've seen this email, if people still aren't aware of the mask, that's up to them. I did speak with the library, since they're in our office, they also have to send the mask. We will not be requiring people coming into City Hall, to wear masks. I am going to put a put a new notice together, as we did out since last year, if we refill, we don't enter the building, we'll get down to, what we have in the hallway in the building department, we'll probably let, some people come through the front now to go to the building, we were, just requiring everyone to go back out, so we'll change that. Also, starting Monday, and I think we put that on our social media today, the captain tickets will be back up. May was interesting, obviously, so we only gave, the suite to one person again. So as of June 2nd, the captains will also not be, requiring a mask, and they will be at full capacity starting June 2nd games. July 14th concert, and I know the band is very excited, that will also be full capacity, for the escape band, we'll play there on July 14th. The only thing I would suggest, and I didn't put it in the, what we posted today, if someone doesn't feel comfortable being in the suite with two other families, then I would suggest not to, register for the tickets, but again, that's up to everyone else. I look at it as if you're gonna apply, for the suite, you are accepting, what's going to change everywhere, June 2nd, and also the CDC guidelines that came out. We will have a Memorial Day service here, May 31st at 11 a.m., with the DSW and the American Legion. Mike, you're putting up the flag this Saturday at 9 a.m., correct?
9 o'clock, yeah.
So if anyone wants to help, put up the flag this Saturday, or the one to come out. Stevens Boulevard, east of the 91 has been interesting over the last month, with that area. We did, come to, not to agreement, but we've come to the residents now know which way to go. We were having a problem, we were getting bombarded with phone calls from people that live in the Valley Creek development from Stevens. A lot of people didn't want to go around, so a lot of people were going the wrong way and one way. Tom sat there, I sat there, Mike sat there, and watched people go the wrong way. I finally sent the police out, and we didn't really get it. I think we may have been a couple tickets on the police, getting too many over there. But obviously didn't want our residents to get tickets, but we also didn't want head-on collision or them driving in the hole on the other side. So that is taken care of. They should be done here in the next few months. The other end of Stevens, from Willard Drive to Lake Shore, been going well. We've not really had too many issues over there. And they're ahead of schedule. The harbor is way ahead of schedule. They were supposed to finish in September. Looks like they may be done in July. They're doing some pressure tests on the line. I called Tom on Friday night when it was raining hard. It's like when I get called from Chiefs at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, or on the weekend, and I'll go. So Tom, I called him on Friday night at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. He's like, "What's happening?" And I said, "I went through the harbor, and there's no water." So we're excited about that. So the harbor has been a long process. We had issues with the one contractor we had down there that was 19 months behind. So we're looking to finish that. We've had a couple special improvement district meetings with our residents. They should start probably applying for their loans in end of June or July. And one other thing. So we did receive a petition from drone noise on Reeves Road. It was from Eastlake and Louis residents. I did forward this also to Mayor Fiala. We did send out notices, and this weekend I did not see any drones. No one has contacted the building, so we were going to monitor it the next couple weekends to see if it goes back. We sent them our ordinances that we believe they were violating and the petition, so hopefully that takes care of that issue. And then one final thing, I did receive a memo from firefighter paramedic Michael Casca. Dear Morley, I was asked if you formally recognize the following individuals involved in the recent incident response: Dispatcher Stephanie Snyder, Record Kenna Palmosi, Sergeant Ken Roberts, Patrolman Mark Pickett, Patrolman Paul Stanley, and Patrolman Warren Hurst. These individuals, along with bystanders at the scene were instrumental in successful saving of a life of a victim of cardiac arrest. Dispatcher Snyder provided CPR instructions to the bystander and was able to dispatch an outdated squad on location of incident. Kenna also and Sergeant Roberts assisted with call. Patrolman Pickett arrived on the scene and immediately began performing CPR. Patrolman Stanley, Patrolman Hess, and bystanders assisted the squad crew by moving the patient to the stretcher. Without the efforts of the above noted individuals, the outcome could have been very different. The American Heart Association has logo simply stated, "Life is why." It is an unselfish act of these men and women who truly made a difference. And Mike Casca, which is American Heart Rep, and CPR HCLS instruction to the department members. So we're proud of everyone there. Chief certainly something.
Not Warren Hurst.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was sitting here going, okay, what's going on?
Oh, you look going on there.
I do apologize. Don't I know? More than that. So that concludes my report.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Mayor, we appreciate it.
Yeah, you need to come back.
No.
All right, move on to our fire chief, Ted Lee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, I definitely really generally appreciate you allowing us to start in here. As you can tell, I was very excited about it, very excited for him. So it means a lot. And I know it takes up some time in your meetings, but I think it's genuinely an important part of their day. So with all my heart, I appreciate that. I just wanted to do hopefully a final vaccine update. Lakeland this Friday will be having the last mass clinic for the county. So it officially ends participation of, at least for now, the fire departments in those. Again, I think that every department across the county has invested time, money, and energy and people into doing these. And then, want to recognize that for those that don't know, like the NCI group, Lori Kanofsky, her students from the North programs, and they were an integral part of this. We were able to do 30 tables, and they had 10 tables just their students there, so they were very much an integral part. And I think that last time we were doing last Friday, all of what we've been trying to do since December is to what we're doing today, where the boss can load it up for a mask, and you go to restaurants, some stores, they'll wear a mask, and the vaccine actually started to take over. So I'm proud to be part of that group, but certainly my participation was so small compared to a lot of other different people. So it was a great effort by the county. And it was, I'm sure that as we go along and we start to recognize exactly what everybody did, we'll certainly got us to this point because of what they did there. And then I think that the vaccine will be readily available for someone that doesn't have it. They can go start going to the CVS, Target, Myers, or physicians and that thing to get those vaccines. And right across somebody's having a tough time, we'll certainly have them call me or call my office and I can call somebody before we get another shot as they go along. I like to think that as the people that maybe around the rest with it, they see what everybody else gets to do now. Maybe they'll sway us cost $1 million. Yeah. Other than that, for questions, I appreciate everything.
Any questions from the chief? Seeing none, thank you. We'll move on to our police chief, Larry Ray.
Our new car has come in, the outfitters and a couple of the other things, and everything else is in construction. I saw everything on order, and everyone seems to be, doing their own thing. So we're gonna stay on it until it's there. We did, put out another car for hopefully just another couple of days. We had an incident last Saturday. Cruiser was damaged, not significantly, but that's off the road, so we're just waiting on one more piece for that, and then we'll be back up, no injuries. And, there's a number of, I don't know if you saw in the material the other day, a group of, a lot of stolen cars, and they're going on everywhere, but the one group did 2 carjackings in Willoughby. So one was in a hotel parking lot, and factors involved as well, but the other one was just, they intentionally hit a car, person gets out to investigate it, and they steal her car by gunpoint, or along it. So, we've been involved in around a couple different pursuits lately that, What's had one the other day come through on Sunday morning. Another police department was able to spike it and crashing or disabling actually near 90 Curtis. We were all apprehended, but that was that train going on as well. So we're seeing a lot more of that. Black cameras are up. They have helped in a couple cases. We're still trying to fine tune and make sure that we continue to use those in our investigation. Some of the direction we were kind of going back and forth originally, which direction do we want coming in, going out of the city, so there might be a little tweaking involved, but I know that's not overly cost prohibitive when that becomes the case. Last but not least, I know Fire Chief brought up things that GI did and other departments that you guys know from working with somebody. This virus has been a pain for all of us, just in general, for our own jobs, how we got to conduct our personal lives and everything like that. I think you have 10 times that, and you're probably dealing with a little bit of what he was going through on a daily basis. And that wasn't just administering the pot, that's, he's putting shots in our arms. He does the tip ups, we have to use garbage cans if needed, whatever. So, it's tireless effort from last March until now. I know it's a big relief for him, but, he won't take the credit for it. He's going to consider it something that's put down on.
Only thing I'll add, I don't know if you saw the newspaper, so 3 of the 4 people on the left side of the carjacking, that's just right. So I think the first one came out at 5 o'clock.
Any questions from Chief? Thank you, Chief. Move on to our city engineer, Tom Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor for keeping me on my toes. Secondly, sometime in the next couple of weeks, we're going to go for the emergency bid on the force main repair. We're like to stick it out at the riverbank. I did the last check on the plans this morning. Also, I don't know if council has received it yet, but I expect the communication to be coming through from Rosie in regard to change order number 4, capacity enhancement project. It's just the usual housekeeping items, they can do that. And with that, I'll open for questions.
Any questions for Mr. Moore? Seeing none, we'll move on to our law director, Randy Clymer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Carolyn and I are meeting with the county prosecutor and the auditor about this issue with the fake law, so we hopefully will be able to get some progress on it. Keep fingers crossed. I included you on the email with regards to moving forward with the property transactions. Sooner or later that'll start coming through, not surprising with the aggregates kind of heads up. The tree down, the one that was a bother to us, $5,800. I submitted that to the court. Hopefully we'll get an entry with that as a lien. And just trying to help the mayor with the AT&T thing, which I think involves you as well. I was hoping a resident will be here with some more details of this, and get some more details. Dave and I are meeting with the contractor on this week, so. Yeah, the contractor should have a continuity that day. I don't know if they'll be here. No, like, we've been told they have to, utility company plans to do that. Did you still have that? So you have to do it, so yeah, that's fine.
Any questions for the law director? Anything else? Okay.
Can I ask a little question, my love?
Certainly.
Thank you. I might regret that. Have you guys re-allowed solicitors for this in the city?
I've not signed off.
I didn't.
I'm still, I'm gonna look at it. I've been working with the chief, Ken, on some of the other cities. I'm trying to get that Randy told me with the first memo, we cannot eliminate solicitors altogether. So I'm trying to work on one that they don't go door to door, because again, especially with our seniors, from some of the things talked about the chief, I just don't want it. So obviously, the COVID did help with that, because,
Right.
you know, I put out that, you know, we got one last week from Spectrum, I think, signed off.
Yeah, there was something going on, and I didn't want to.
Yeah, so we didn't, I've not signed off, and don't plan on it, and then someone contacted Randy that they were gonna do a lawsuit, but I said they can do that, and it's a little bit on me, but, I'm working on some things, because again, our seniors are vulnerable, we have these people, not about COVID, just vulnerable to things.
Everything, right.
We're looking at that, so I'm trying to figure out something. Someone had something, but then eliminate, like, the kids can't go door to door, the boys, any of that, which I'm saying I don't wanna stop, but more of the utilities companies, and the no factory help, the no factory do not knock help a lot, but there's other things that we need to look at too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Just want to say it's good to see everybody over here on this side of the room.
Really, I have to.
Oh.
I'm just happy with being blanked, okay.
Except for you.
I know you love me, deep down.
That being said, we're meeting adjourned at 7:15 p.m.
Oh, really? Oh, really?